You are listening to the Banker's Secret Podcast, the Canadian guide to create a significant and positive impact on the financial success and everyday quality of life for businesses, individuals, and families. Building sustainable and dependable wealth, your host Glen has been serving Canadians since 2004.
What does it mean to be the banker in your life?
Well, Daryl, everybody banks. Banking is a common anomaly in everyone's daily lives, and you don't have to be rich to get into the banking business. You know, there's 3 basic steps of banking. So banks do this. They take deposits, they lend money, and they earn interest. And the Banker's Secret strategy allows you to mirror these same 3 functions of a traditional bank to achieve a lifetime of financial success. So really, Daryl, the essence here that we want to get through to people is we're recouping the interest that a person would normally pay, to a traditional bank for all their lending transactions. And so, we educate people on how to create and control their own personal banking system is what people really start to, engage in. And we like to say, banking is a process. It's not a product. And let's agree that we finance everything, that we buy in our lifetime. And you either pay interest to someone else or you give up the interest that you could have earned.
Now, we say in every show, what we're talking about is kind of a paradigm shift in thinking. It's not complicated, but it takes a bit of time to explain. And as much time as we could give ourselves on the radio, it's never going to be the same as being able to attend the actual workshop where you're there for a full day and you get to see the case studies, you get to be interactive and ask questions. That's absolutely the ultimate. And so we'll give you our best to give you sort of the tip of the iceberg today. Now, Glenn, we mentioned in the first segment, it's a process. Can you explain to us what is the process of becoming your own banker?
Absolutely. So imagine, recovering every penny that you pay to finance cars, other major purchases. We'll introduce a financial process, Daryl, that grows your money safely and predictably. And to help people understand, the banking process, that we've discovered, the better part of 10 years ago, a strategy that, that we use to be the banker in our life and understand how a banking system works. And here's what we learned from banks is that, when banks lend money, they're the last ones to get into every lending transaction and they're the first ones to get out of every lending transaction. And so we would say, why should you be the one that takes all the risk and the last one to get paid? Doesn't make sense, right? So the teaching point is this. Banks have taught us a very powerful lesson. They're very successful at leveraging these 3 strategies. First one is banks lend, so they don't invest. Banks transfer risk away from themselves, and banks turn liabilities into assets. And so most people recognize that these parts, of the banking system, and until now, very few people have understood, Daryl, how to apply, these to their own lives. And that's why we've, developed the boot camp to educate people on a process so that they can take control, more importantly, of their own finances for their future.
And as you were talking there, you were listing off just the various things that banks do, and that's what the workshop, the boot camp, is all about. Is it helps you understand the process.
And our special guest today, Brent Kesler. Hi, Brent. Are you with us?
Yes, sir. I am.
Nice to have you with us. Thank you for joining us today. We'd like to ask you, Brent, before discovering the becoming your own banker system, what was life like for you financially?
Well, I'll tell you what, I first heard about this concept back in 2006, and I looked at it, and I thought it was too good to be true, and I didn't even believe it. So I didn't do anything at all for a couple years when I saw a lot of my colleagues. I mean, I come from the chiropractic background, and I saw just a few of my colleagues that had heard this same information back in 2006. The only difference between them and me is they took action, and I didn't. And then I heard it again in 2008, and a lot of my colleagues were telling me how this was working for them, how they were paying off their debt. They were recapturing all of their expenses. They were going out to other people, and most importantly, just completely taking control of their own money and their own wealth without having to work any harder or change their cash flow or give up any control whatsoever of their dollars. And back before I started this process, my wife and I own some chiropractic offices, and my wife and I were almost, we were $984,711 in debt. That's what we owed to third-party creditors.
Wow.
We owed for my student loans, my chiropractic practices, our house that we lived in. We also had a condo at the lake, and just so like, and of course, if you have a condo at the lake, you have to have a boat and a wave runner. So we had a lot of debt, and we were just kind of, we were paying everybody else. You have to start paying yourself first, and again, I know we hear that, from time to time. You've heard that before, to pay yourself first. But the thing is, nobody ever really does it. They never pay themselves first. The thing that they do is when they get in their money, okay, so like through their paycheck or their job or however they get dollars into their bank, they go put it into the Bank of Canada, right? And so now the thing they do is they pay everybody else. They pay the car people, the house people, the student loan people, the grocery people, the travel vacation people, and they hope there's money left over for them. Is that you have to pay yourself first. And that's basically what I've learned to do. And just like based on the principles and the concept of what they teach, I was able to pay off that debt in 3 years and 3 months, a total of 39 months, never had to work any harder, change my cash flow, or take any additional risk with my money. And that's the cool thing. I'm not taking any risk at all. All I'm doing is changing one step in the process of the stuff that I'm doing with my money. So it completely changed my life. And that's been back in 2008. I've been doing this now for, it'll be 11 years, and it's completely changed the financial life, not only just for me, but also my family.
It really does sound like since you became your own banker, there's been a huge transformation. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience working with Glen?
Yeah, oh my gosh, they are incredible. This is what they do. This is their sole passion in life, is to help teach people the financial truths about their money. I mean, so the thing we've done, we've grown up with our parents, grandparents, and so on. And so they've taught us the stuff that they know about money, which may not actually be the truth. They're going to show you the concept. They're going to show you the secrets of what the super wealthy do. This concept has been around for over 200 years. All right. If you read the book called Robert Kiyosaki, it's called Second Chance by Robert Kiyosaki, or Master the Money Game by Tony Robbins. These are the concepts they are talking about in this book. Is they put it into a way, they basically deliver the information in a way that really makes it simple and easy to stand. Okay, so basically makes it like very easy to understand. So that's what they do. And I have seen them over the years just transform so many people's lives financially. So again, so as far as just if you go to this, just to the boot camp that they're talking about, they're not going to ask you to buy anything. They're not going to try to sell you anything. They're strictly going to educate you on this process and on this concept. So that's all they're going to do. They're going to teach and educate you how this works. So the thing we're going to do now is now we're going to understand how the wealthy work, what the wealthy do. Because if you think about it, so like us and the super wealthy, all of us have the same financial tools. The only difference between them and us is that they use the tools differently than we do. Now that we understand the game, now that I understand the game and how it works, I'm just doing the same thing that the super wealthy have been doing for over 100+ years. And so the last thing I want to end on that is just know, because I heard a little blip as I was waiting to come on the call in the commercial break, and it said, hey, the callers on this call, they may be employees or they may represent the interests of the advertiser. So the thing I want your as far as people to know is I am not employed at all with Glen. I have no financial interest whatsoever if you come to the boot camp or not. But I'm telling you, take it from me, a guy that's a customer, a client of this, and I heard it in 2006, but I did not believe it. I sat on the sidelines for 2 years, and I kicked myself in the rear end every day because I did not take action back when I first heard about it. I waited 2 years, and that 2 years that I waited, it cost me tens and tens of thousands of dollars because I did not take this concept and put it into action earlier.
I can see the benefits. We can all see the benefits for our families. For those of us out there who are business owners and professionals, why would they be interested in this process?
Well, so here's what's the main reason for me. As a business owner, as a professional, and again, I always tell people, it doesn't matter if you own a business or you're professional or you're, so like as far as, or if you're at just like an employee at a job, I always say this to people. I don't care if you make $10 an hour or $10,000 an hour. Everybody needs to break the bonds of financial slavery they don't even realize they're in and start taking control of their own money instead of having other people control the money for you and make decisions. So as a business owner, we tend to have to buy like maybe some of the supplies for our business, equipment for our business. We have employees that we have to pay. We have overhead. We have insurance that we have to pay, taxes we have to pay, all of those items that has to go out to other people. After all that's paid, those dollars are normally gone. They've left our family forever. So we pay those out, and those dollars are gone forever. With this concept, you are now going to see where you're going to be able to get all of that money back. You're going to recycle and recapture all of that money that is going out to other people. So what we're doing, like Robert Kiyosaki talks about in this book, we are turning every liability into an asset. We're turning every asset that is depreciating, we are now turning it into an appreciating asset. So again, we're teaching the truth about money and how it actually works. So a business owner, again, it doesn't matter if it's a business owner or not. I mean, as a business owner, you're going to now really see just as far as the benefits of how you're going to recycle and recapture money and bring it back into your business. But I would not tell you just as a business owner to come to this because you're a business owner. So the thing I tell people, anybody that has a spine and that is breathing, they should hear this information. This is pertinent financial information for them and their family for not only the present time, but for the rest of their life.
Okay, and last question for you, if you can give me about a 30-second answer. If people are sitting on the fence about going to the Banker Secret workshop or not, what would you say to them?
I'm telling you, look, so I know we're busy, and again, I don't know the exact hours of the workshop. It's probably on a Saturday, and I know people, that they only have, X amount of free time, and, they want to go to their kids' sporting events, or they want to get together with their families, or, that they're busy, and the majority of the people, they take the path of least resistance. They're like, no, I'll go next time. I'm not going to go now. Well, take it from me. It took me 2 years. It took me 2 years to kind of just like get my craft together and get there and get in front of this information. This is life-changing from a financial perspective. So if you want to help your family and help your friends, colleagues, coworkers, I'm telling you, you get there, you get this information. This is going to be information that you have never heard anywhere before. You've never heard it from your accountant, your financial advisor, a financial professional, your Edward Jones guy, whoever it is that you deal with money and finance. This information is going to change your life.
Hey, Glenn, I heard a line in the first part of our show, which I'd like to throw back at you and discuss. People will spend more money financing vehicles throughout their lifetime than they ever will save for retirement.
That's an amazing statement. And so people today, their vehicle purchasing options consist of these three things. They're leasing, financing, or paying cash. And the real cost of buying vehicles using these options is the permanent loss of your money over time. So I'm going to run through a car example here for you. Is that all right?
Yeah.
So let's say you're considering buying a car for $25,000. Here's your options you have today. It's that you can lease them, which is a no-purchase payment plan. You can finance your vehicle, which is a post-purchase payment plan. Or you can pay cash, which is a pre-purchase plan. So what do? You save up to $25,000. It earns interest, and you pay cash for the car. Ask yourself this. How did you get to $25,000? Well, you made payments into a savings account over a period of time. Agreed? Mm-hmm. You saved up to $25,000. You withdrew it to purchase the car. So what's the value of your savings account now? 0. Capital Z. All of these three methods are a constant transfer of your money away from you, leaving you with zero at the end of each one. The loss is permanent. Permanent. Forever. This money's gone forever and it can never be used by you again. So at the boot camp, this is just one thing that we're going to show you how to do, Daryl. Buy vehicles so you end up with all of the cash, and believe it or not, still own the car. Where else can you do that?
Now, how does McGuire Financial educate the general public about becoming your own banker outside of the show?
Well, we specialize in providing clients with the proper tools and education, to take advantage, of the benefits using the Banker Secret strategy. In addition to, helping people structuring, their systems correctly. So we personalize each one to their specific situation. We take an active role in continuing to educate and provide guidance to our clients on being the banker in their life. And, we probably can't emphasize that enough. And Daryl, we got to say this. I mean, we're not talking about getting $100 million and creating the next traditional bank. We're talking about being the banker on the you and me level. And so we're using terminology that's really just kind of simplified of, how do we just mimic or replicate being that being the banker in your life. And so the boot camp it will change people's view of the financial world forever. And our boot camps, they're really a step-by-step education on how to create and control your own personal banking system. We show people several examples on how to eliminate their debt, buy vehicles, send their kids to school, save up for their education. And one of the examples that, we show people is how to eliminate debt over a very short period of time, just like Dr. Brent Kesler did. And, people get a personalized workbook, with all of the examples that they get at the boot camp. And really, more importantly, people are going to learn how easy it is to take control over their finances.
And I like what you said about you don't have to have $1 million. We're not saying you have to create your own bank. It's just when you understand the process, every time you make a decision in your day-to-day banking activities, you now have more control over what transpires, and that's a big part of it too.
Well, we can't say enough about the process because right now it's really we like to say it's a paradigm shift in thinking, because for most people throughout their whole lifetime, they've just been taught how to think about banks, money, and insurance from one perspective, and until you learn a different process, nothing's going to change. So if you ask yourself this, who's getting all the money today?
Yeah, having been at one of your workshops, I can testify that you learn so much, and it's a whole different experience. And the cool thing is it was quite a fun experience. Everybody there is quite engaged. They're asking questions. There's a lot of back and forth, fun talk.
Yep.
You have the case studies. It's very engaging. It really is a very worthwhile day. Okay, Glenn, we're going to have one more question. Then we're going to take a break and come back with Brent Kesler. What are some myths and disbeliefs that people have about whole life insurance?
Daryl, most people have been taught, through their lifetime that life insurance is for dying, and it's not for them, and therefore they look for the cheapest cost. People have never been shown the value in a unique dividend-paying whole life, which is what we've discovered for the better part of a decade here. And why we say it's unique, life insurance, is that it allows you to save money inside of this structure and be able to receive dividends and interest without any risk of loss of capital. Could you imagine that? A place where your money has no risk or loss of capital? In fact, the system has more financial qualities than it does death benefit, and that's why we say it's very unique. Most people haven't heard of it, and where else could you use your money while you're alive and use that for your loved ones, when you expire? And we like to say, where else can you do that? In fact, one of our mentors, Bob Shields, told us you don't have to die to win. And this is one thing you're really going to experience at the workshop for sure.
I like that. It's the insurance for living, not insurance for dying.
And we have a special guest with us too, Brent Kesler.
Yeah, actually, back when I first started this process in my own life, which was very early in 2008, I was $984,711 in debt. That's what I owed to the third-party creditors. I owed for my student loans from chiropractic school. I had my house. I had my chiropractic clinics, a boat, a wave runner, like as far as my office is, a condo at the lake, and then also I'm an airplane pilot, so, I have my own airplane. So it didn't take a lot to become $1 million of debt. I was able to put this process and this concept in place, and I was able to pay that off in a total of 39 months, 3 years and 3 months. And the cool thing about it was I never had to work any harder, never had to take any, as far as just to give up control of my money, and I didn't have to take any risk. All I did was change one step in the process of the things that I was doing with my money. Look, as a chiropractor in the States, here's the thing that I look at. I look at it is just that I'm a healthcare provider, and the number one cause of death in the States is just by heart disease. Well, guess what the number one cause of heart disease is? It's stress.
Yeah.
Guess what the number one cause of stress is? It's money and finances. So this, in my opinion, will just not only help your financial life, but it also will have a great impact on your health and your relationships. Because not only that, just kind of think of whenever you argue with your spouse, right? So when you have arguments with your spouse, and a lot of people go through divorces, tell me, what do you think the primary reason is for arguments among spouses or divorces? It's money and finances. And when you get that under control for you and your family, I mean, not only does your wealth expand, not only is your health better, but your relationships are also better. So the stuff that you taught, the stuff that you teach in this Banker's Secret, this is going to hit all of those areas. And I'm telling you, it is a must to get in front of this information. I don't care if you have to skip your kid's soccer game for the day or what. You have got to get there, and if you can bring your spouse with you, bring your spouse, because if you both are on the same page and see what's going on, it'll make a world of difference.
Glenn, now we've heard that, I think we know the answer, but who should attend the boot camp?
Well, our boot camp is really classroom instruction on money management and taking control of a person's finances. And it's for people ages 25 to 59. You're going to discover, how to, I like to say 5 major leaks where people are losing money today, and it's in their mortgage, taxes, registered plans, children's education, and major purchases. And, if you're losing money in these areas, then you'll want to attend this workshop. So whether you make $10 per hour or $100 per hour, everyone should know how to apply this process in their life, Daryl, and create wealth for themselves and their family. And you can do this without changing your cash flow, working any harder, or more importantly, losing control of your money. I'm very privileged to wake up each and every day and educate people on how to apply this system, in their lives. And, if you think about this for a second, it's like turning every depreciating asset into an appreciating asset. And, if you're never too old to learn, one of my mentors told me, and I've shared this with you before, is that, a long time ago, my mentor said to me, one of the most expensive things you can own, Daryl, is a closed mind.
I love that line. That's a great line. And Glenn, we talked too about this as a process. In the first segment, you were highlighting just steps in the process. Can you talk about how important it is just to be able to take control of the banking function in your life? Can you explain that to our listeners?
Yeah, you bet. This is probably the most important part of the the Banker's Secret. So it's a strategy. It's not a rapid money-making scheme. People need to really know that. Anything that's worth taking a look at or educating yourself on takes time. And the Banker's Secret, in its truest form, is control of your money and eliminating unnecessary money leaks, from your personal net worth that you can control. You can utilize your money to grow and increase your assets. So again, like I mentioned, the 5 major leaks where people are losing money today are through mortgages, taxes, pension plans, children's education, and major purchases. So if you think about that for a second, we're paying a lot of interest on a lot of those items. So the solution for most people's financial problems, Daryl, is learning how to be the banker in their life to their advantage, like we've mentioned throughout the show. So the lessons we've learned from banks is that we must reverse the flow of our money and stop the flow of money going away from us so that it flows back to us with very little risk. And that's really the gist of the Banker's Secret strategy.